Hello AOS fans, Robin here, and I'm back again with another deck review for you. Yes, it's that time of the week. So this week I'm going to be playing Mollog in our second matchup of the two new warbands. Unlike last week where we restricted ourselves to a majority of new cards, this week the whole gamut of Shadespire and Nightvault cards is available to us. So what have I come up with? Well, there's a little caveat. I'm actually recording this after the game, so I do know how it went. And I do know that some of my choices weren't very good, probably because I was still trying to explore the new cards from Mollog, and I made a couple of errors, which I'll probably, you'll see. I won't spoil them, but you may notice when you see this deck review that there are a few things that I shouldn't have picked. But you can feel free to comment in the comments below, but maybe wait and see the game, and then also perhaps refer to our other video where I went through my first impressions of the warbands, because I talk in there about the cards that didn't work for me. So this deck isn't perfect, I do know that, but well, see what you think. Here we go. So in first place I have Escalation. Yes, Escalation, my first restricted card. That is in here. I still think I'm yet to have a deck without it in. And then I have Master of War, followed by No Remorse, because Mollog is going to be hitting heavy damage, and so No Remorse, it has made it into my deck. Superior Tactician. This seems to be the way a lot of people are playing, is to pack the deck with quite a fair number of score immediately cards, pick up Subtac at the end. So the Superior Tactician has arrived in my deck once more. So will that end up on the BAR list? I don't know. I'd have to look at the stats from the last Grand Clash, see how many times it was in there. I suspect it's in a lot of decks. And then one card I haven't played for a very long time next is Victorious Duel, which is a score immediately card if your leader takes an enemy leader out of action. Well, with Mollog, you're going to be trying to take everything out of action, and it seems pretty reasonable that you're going to be hunting down the leader, so I have Victorious Duel in the deck. Similarly, Shining Example. It's my theory that Mollog will be attacked and taken down, and is likely to be inspired, and in case that Pete decides to run away from him, then I have got Inspiration Strikes in the deck as well, so I do like a Shining Example for these guys. Got them. Score this immediately at the beginning of your activation if there are 3 or more enemy fighters adjacent to a friendly Mollog. Well, again, if Pete's attacking me, then I imagine he'll be surrounding me. I've also put in centre of attention to draw people in, so that I reckon that should be a fairly easy 2 glory to score immediately. Fired Up. Fired Up is in here as another restricted card, and it enables me to score glory if one of my fighters is surviving. If any of them are surviving, again, I hope that will happen, especially with Inspiration Strikes. Once Mollog is inspired, hopefully it'll be around for a little while, long enough for me to score that. And Frugal. Frugal, I think, is a card that's going up in a lot of decks. You only need to have 3 unspent glory, and you can score it straight away, or straight away after scoring a big glory scoring card. So if, for example, I had it at the end of the game and I'd spent all my glory but still managed to somehow score Superior Tactician, I could, in theory, score Frugal as well or something. And this Frugal is probably a better card for Supremacy type taking warbands where you're going to get 3. I haven't got those here, but Frugal is in the deck nonetheless. Get the Hence, another score immediately for knocking an opponent back, basically, from drive a fighter back 2 or more hexes. Then you can get the Hence. And another score immediately card is Longstrider. Score this immediately when a fighter makes a second or subsequent move action in a single action phase. I think this is an absolute shoo-in for Mollog. You're going to be trying to move him twice in every turn. That is why Longstrider is in there. And then Strong Start again, because Mollog hits hard from the get-go. So I've put Strong Start to try and score another score immediately. So how many score immediately was that? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 score immediately. It's quite a lot. So there you go. That are my objectives. Moving on now to my gambits. I have Healing Potion for healing up the Mollog when he's been injured. Make him a bit stronger again after he's been taking damage. Obviously, it's a slight double-edged sword. If you do it too early, he can't. It makes it harder for him to inspire the rest of his warband. Hidden Paths for just in case I need to teleport to my Mollog somewhere. Inspiration Strikes because everybody wants their Mollog to be inspired. Misdirection. Now this card is one I don't normally pick, but when everything is going through one guy, then you really need a way to deflect whatever's coming at him if you possibly can. So Misdirection is in there for that reason. My Turn, because the Mollog may take some damage, and then I can attack back with him. Ready for Action, one of the best cards in the game and brilliant for Mollog because it basically gives you another attack action. Shardgale. Now, I'm not sure about this one, but I'm kind of thinking it could be useful just to bring the opponent down into the range of some of the other members of my warband, because they don't hit very hard, but on the off chance that one of them is called to attack, then maybe Shardgale will help, and it will bring Mollog, it will bring him down. I wouldn't play it later in the game, but early in the game could bring him towards being inspired. Not sure about Shardgale, but I've put it in there anyway. Brutal Savagery. No, I'm not talking about Pete. I'm talking about the first attack action made by a friendly fighter. The next activation has +1 dice. Predatory Growls. Choose an enemy fighter and push them up 1 hex. So this is basically a Mollog-specific distraction. One could consider running both to help push 2 people towards Mollog. Maybe I've only got 1 in there. There are always more ploys you can take. And, it's hard to get them all in, and I've gone for Predatory Growls. Centre of Attention, like a massive Predatory Growls. Bring everybody towards Mollog. Could be really great if you can get off his sword attack and Commanding Stride. Push your leader up to 3 hexes. They must end this push on a starting hex. And my upgrades now. Upgrades, I have gone for Blooming Spores, which is basically a Mollog-specific great strength. Foul Temper, again, not talking about Pete. You can re-roll 1 dice in each attack roll for this fighter's attack actions. Pretty good upgrade there. It's effectively Awakened Weapon for Mollog, a non-restricted Awakened Weapon. Ideal. Inescapable Jaws for the Bat Squig. Yes, the Bat Squig, he is looking, I don't know how useful he'll be, but he'll be slightly more useful with swords and hammers on him, so that's why the Inescapable Jaws is in there. Bag of Tricks, I really like this new card. Search your power deck for a card, reveal it and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your power deck and place a charge token next to this fighter. So it is an action. Chances are you may only get to use it once, but nevertheless, there it is, Bag of Tricks. Champion's Fortitude. Rerolling defense dice. I guess you might want to keep your Mollog alive for a little bit longer. Champion's Fortitude gives you a chance to reroll the dice if you fail it. Faneway Crystal. Yes, again for teleportation shenanigans. Faneway Crystal is in there. Again, I think this card's probably heading towards the BAR list at some point. It seems to be in pretty much every deck, and it's in my one. Great Strength. Again, help with that Mollog strength. Not that you really need it, but it could be useful for scoring certain cards. No Remorse, maybe, if Pete gets a beefed up card. Or just generally. Great Strength is in there, but it's also useful for your other guys too. So, again, if I've got Inescapable Jaws on the Bat Squig with Great Strength, it suddenly becomes something to worry about. Potion of Rage. Potion of Rage, again, good for Mollog. Gets +2 dice on his attacks. Slumbering Key. Slumbering Key, because I think the Mollog will still be alive at the end, and that'll be an extra glory. So there we go. And if he's not alive, then the Stalag Squirrel will be, maybe. So there you go. The Slumbering Key is in my deck, restricted for a good reason, because it's effectively a good chance for a glory. Tome of Offerings, a Cataphrane Tome. Now this card is going to shake up the meta and possibly bring it swinging back towards offensive warbands once more. Tome of Offerings, if this fighter takes an enemy fighter out of action, they gain 1 additional glory point. I think it's a really powerful card, and obviously Mollog is just about the perfect exponent of it, if that's the right word. If not, he is the perfect person to put Tome of Offerings on. And finally, Tome of Vitality. Now, I've put this in there because it's a new card. I would probably actually run Great Fortitude really on this card, and that's nice to use a different card. And if I was running the multiple tome objective where you get score 1 for every tome you've got, I'd probably use this one. But actually there is a card which will give you a score immediately, I think, if you kill somebody who's got a tome. Disdain for Knowledge, I think that card is. And if I had this instead of Great Fortitude, then that's a possible glory giveaway. So I probably wouldn't have it normally, but I am trying to show off these new cards, so that's why Tome of Vitality is in there. And that is the end of my deck. So let me know what you think. It's my first Mollog deck. Like I say, I don't think it's perfect. You'll see in the game I can encounter some issues without giving any spoilers away. And I have already mentioned a few of the problems I had in the immediate wash-up video I did last week. So do check that out if you want to have a look, get a flavour of how things might have gone in our forthcoming game. If not, we'll see you once again in the Mirrored City. Bye!